Hi everyone, it's Jo Carter here. Welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for joining me. Today's video is going to be my top 5 favourite authors. It was actually surprisingly hard to think what are my top 5 favourite authors. I wanted to do this video fairly early on in my revival of BookTube. I'm interested to see how my tastes change, and especially because I've had the same TBR for a very long time because it has been so large. I'm reading the same books that I picked for myself when I was mid to late teens. And I'm really excited for next year when my TBR is 0 and I'll be able to pick books that I'm really excited about and read them straight away when I'm really excited about. It was also hard to pick my favourite authors because I've only read either the one standalone book or the one series by nearly every author that I've ever read because, again, large TBR. I found it hard to pick because I feel like for them to be classed as a favourite author, they should be someone that I have read multiple different books that are not in the same series, that whether it's multiple standalones or multiple series that they've written for me to really understand whether they're my favourite or not. So this is going to be a bit of an interesting list, and I'm really excited to have done this as a base video and to see how I go later on in life. The first author I want to talk about is Ken Follett. The series of his that I've read is the Kingsbridge trilogy. Wow, I'm so gonna not be used to this. I got a ring light. The only trilogy that I've read of Ken Follett's and the only books of Ken Follett's that I've read is the Kingsbridge series. I have him on my list of favourites because this is the one and only book that has made me bawl like a baby, and I am so excited to read more books, and I have a lot of faith that Ken Follett's other series, when I can buy books again next year, that they will be favourites as well. And if I was making like a bet, I would bet that Ken Follett is going to be on my favourites list even next year and in coming years when I can read more books. The second author is Lynette Noni, who is most famous for having written the Medoran Chronicles, and she's also written the Whisper series and is currently writing a book called The Prison Healer. I haven't read the Whisper series because, again, TBR, I snuck in the Medoran Chronicles because I think they were something that drew me to her. I've also met Lynette Noni at a signing. She was very lovely. I've actually been following Lynette Noni's blog for a long time. I followed it, I think I discovered her when she was just getting her publishing deal with Pantera Press, and I've been following her since then on all different kinds of social medias. I just think that she's a really great person. She loves Disney and she's just so much fun. She loves her fans. She'll respond to her fans. I've interviewed her once on my blog, not as like a video or anything like that, just as me emailing her some questions to answer. And I'm really looking forward to supporting her more when I can buy books next year. Charlaine Harris is also on my favourite list. Hers is pretty simple. Again, I've only read, and I haven't even finished, her Southern Vampire Mysteries or Sookie Stackhouse series. I haven't finished them yet, and I haven't read anything else by her, but I love her for the fact that her writing style is just so engaging, and she can make me enjoy reading about Sookie doing basic chores like doing the dishes and cleaning her house. For that simple fact, Charlaine Harris won a spot on my top 5 favourite authors list, and I'm really looking forward to continuing the Sookie Stackhouse series. I'm not sure what else Charlaine has published because, to be honest, I haven't really delved much into her as an author. I'm looking forward to seeing more of what she has published, if she has published other things, and I'm hoping that I'll love them too. The second last author I want to talk about is a bit kind of funny because she's not just an author, she is also an actor, and that is Anna Kendrick. I'm new to stacking books, so let me just... Okay, maybe it'll stay there. It's a paperback. Where was I? Anna Kendrick wrote her memoir, Scrappy Little Nobody, and I loved it. I bought it on Audible and I re-listened to it probably about once a year. I love that it is narrated by herself, so it kind of feels like she's having this long conversation with you. I loved it so much that I was going somewhere that for whatever reason I didn't feel like I could listen to something on Audible, so I bought this so that I could keep reading it and keep devouring it. This is maybe, I don't know whether this is like a cheat one or something, because she's not just an author. Obviously she's only written this book, and she's an actor and a singer first and foremost, but I absolutely loved this book. And when I was struggling to find an author that I liked because of this memoir, I feel like I know Anna Kendrick a lot more than I did just watching Pitch Perfect, so she earned a spot on this list. And the last author I want to talk about is a bit controversial. And I'm solely including her because I honestly couldn't think of anybody else to include. And I wanted to put her in here as, if I was doing this list a few years ago, hands down, she would have been probably top of the list because of the way that her books have made me feel. But as I'm growing up a bit more and becoming a bit more socially aware of things like domestic violence and abusive relationships, I really want to reread the series that she has written and to see it with more of an open-minded and open-eyed approach. Now that is Jamie McGuire, who has written the wildly popular Maddox Brothers series. The first book that she wrote in this series was actually from the perspective of a woman, and then which I didn't read, and then I read this one first, which is from the perspective of the boyfriend. And this is sort of romanticizing an abusive relationship. I know this because I've watched reviews on this and I've read reviews on this, but when I was reading this book and some others in the series, I absolutely love them. I got swept up away in it. But there are things like manipulation where, like, Travis is the main character in this book. He's the love interest. This is the same book but from his, and then the other book is from her perspective. He manipulates her into coming with them. He chucks this big tantrum once when she leaves and like rips a door off its frames. He uses their friendship to manipulate her into leaving a date, saying like, I need you here, you're my lucky charm, just because he doesn't want her to be on a date with another guy. There's all these red flags throughout the book, and even though it ends up okay for the heroine and he ends up being a good partner, it's sort of almost romanticizing these red flags that when you see them in a relationship in real life, IRL, you should actually be like, okay, this guy has violent tendencies and he's manipulating me. He's probably going to cut me off from my friends and be like, I read this when I was quite young, 18 when I read this, and I absolutely loved it, but I knew nothing about what happens to a lot of women on a daily basis with domestic violence and abuse. So I'm really keen to reread these. I'm including Jamie on this list because I devour these books. I did devour them. I love them. But I'm really interested to reread them, knowing all this and seeing if I still get the same feelings, probably because of nostalgia, unfortunately. But I want to be able to see them with an open mind and see whether my thoughts and opinions change and whether maybe I get a little bit disgusted by Travis. Who knows? But I'm including this on this list because as a person, I'm growing and I'm developing all the time. And when I think of my favorite authors and authors that have made me like, I died over this series because it kept me gripped. It was fantastic. I was rooting for them. I loved them. But I have grown as a person. So that's it for today's video. Thanks everybody so much for watching. Who are your top 5 favorite authors? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me about some of these? Do you recommend anybody based on other videos that you've seen that I've put out that you think might be a favorite author? My sister already recommended me something because of my medieval fiction recommendations, which is my favorite genre. I'll leave that video link up above. I will not be reading that book for a year, but I will add that to my list. So let me know, chat to me in the comments. Don't forget to like this video if you did like it, and subscribe if you want to see more from me. Thanks everybody so much for watching. Stay safe and I'll see you next time. Bye!